Hello, this is Chris from QuadShot Software with the next in our series of videos on OpenTickets Community Edition. In this particular video, I'm going to share with you how you use our box office extension. In the previous videos, I've shown you how you can create events for sale to the public on a website, such that your customers will go to your website, select an event, choose their seats, and then purchase them. However, there may be occasions when you want your own box office to be able to use the same system to sell tickets to people in person or those who have called over the phone. Additionally, you may want the facility to be able to accept cash from people who come to your box office rather than the previous payment methods that we had used. During the course of this video, I'm going to show you how that's done. The first thing to show you is a couple of new roles that installing the box office plugin has created. We strongly suggest that you create new user accounts for any of your box office staff who are going to be selling tickets, primarily because this creates a detailed audit trail showing exactly who did what, when, and for example, if discounts or coupons were applied. I'm not going to create a user here, but I'm just going to show you the new roles that are there. If I click on the drop-down box for roles, you'll notice that there are two roles specifically associated with Box Office Manager and Box Office. In order to be able to sell tickets using the Box Office extension, a person needs to have an account of their own and be signed into the dashboard, and their role needs to be either Box Office Manager, Box Office, Shop Manager, which is a role that was created by WooCommerce, or the administrator. Only those roles can actually sell the tickets. The next thing we need to do before we can sell tickets is actually to make sure that WooCommerce has enabled the payment methods we want to use, specifically if it allows cash. So if I go to WooCommerce and then Settings, in the Checkout section, if I scroll down the page to payment methods, you can see the methods that are already enabled: direct bank transfer, check payment, or PayPal. There are now several others that we can enable. In-house other payment, which can be a means of accepting checks at your box office, or in-house cash payment, accepting cash at your box office. If you accept credit cards, there are a number of different gateways that WooCommerce supports that would allow you to be able to do this. I'm going to enable check acceptance, and I'm going to enable payment by cash. And all I do is click on the settings box adjacent to what I want to enable and just check the box that says enable in-house other. That now enables me to accept checks. And if I do the same for in-house cash payment, I can now accept cash. The way your box office staff work when selling tickets to the public is using the WooCommerce Orders facility. So click on WooCommerce and then Orders, and then add a new order. If the person that you're selling a ticket to has already bought from you and they're already in your database, you can click on this box and enter 3 or more characters of their name, and it will pop up a list that you can select from. In this case, I don't have anybody in there, so I'm going to create a new customer. Just click on New and give it a username. Now, this is the WordPress username that they're going to that will be in the system, and it can be anything. Now, I'm going to make this simply Jim Smith, as that's the name of the person that I'm going to use as a customer here. I'm going to set their email to be jim@jimsmith.com. First name Jim, second name, last name Smith, and create user. We've now created the bare bones of their user, and we now need to load those details in so that we can fully sell them the ticket. So again, in the guest box here, I simply click, I enter Jim, It finds Jim Smith and it loads the details such as I have in there. Now it's up to you, depending upon the needs of your particular event and what you need to hold, as to how much of this you ask them for whilst they are standing in front of you wanting to buy a ticket. I'm going to set the address of this person to be our Quadshot office in Henderson. I'm going to set the country to be the United States. I'm going to set their phone to be all nines. Now, one of the things it's asking me is what method they are going to use to pay. As I click this drop-down box, you'll see these new methods that I added within WooCommerce settings are now there. So I can accept a check from this person, or I can accept cash. I'm going to use cash for this, so this person is going to pay in cash. So that basically is this person's details are complete. Now what I need to do is within the order items section here is to actually select the tickets that they want to buy. So I'm going to click on Add Line Items, and from the resulting box I'm going to select Add Tickets because they're going to be buying tickets from us. Immediately it pops up our event calendar, and I'm going to pick the event that I had previously created, Event 1. As I click on this, it loads in the seating chart, and I can now pick the seats that I want to buy. Let's suppose for the sake of this I want to buy E12 and E13. So I click on E12 and I click on E13. Those seats are now selected. If I click the X to close this box, when I return down here, you'll notice that these two seats have now been purchased. I'm going to save that. And now I'm going to do a calculate total. This would be, for example, if you had to use tax in your system, and that's something that you set up within the WooCommerce plugin, or if there's anything else like shipping, for example. If somebody had called you over the phone and you wanted to mail it to them, you could potentially add shipping. I'm going to click calculate total, say OK, and you can see here that my two tickets are going to be for $20. Go to save the order. When I click Save Order, you'll notice underneath in Payments, it's asking me to accept the payment. So we're assuming the customer in front of me at the box office has paid over the right amount of cash, and I now accept payment. Accept payment. I now can choose that I am going to accept in-house cash payment and click Pay for Order. That is now complete. You can see here the order status is completed. It says the last payment was received. It gives details of their tickets, and you can now hand over to them the paper tickets for the event. And here underneath is the very important audit trail that says who it was that did what to this particular order. So we have a very detailed trail of every ticket that is sold, should we need to go back into the system and see exactly what happens. So that's how you use our box office extension.